So, hey, everybody. Welcome to Two Old Guys and a Middle-Aged Guy Talk About Guitars and Gear and Stuff.
And
The Reunion Tour 2025, Night 4. So how y'all doing, guys? And we don't have a theme song yet because, none of us.
We'll have to come up with one.
Yeah, there you go.
It's got to be happy, peppy, zippy. None of this lover's lament crap.
Why do I feel like I've heard that someplace before? Like that's a thing from a movie or something.
It absolutely is.
Wait, is the clapping not working?
It is not.
I did not hear it.
I haven't had the clap since.
Oh, that was awesome. Okay, so what are we talking about today? Oh, I remember. So we want to start. We want to start with gear, or do we want to start with our band thing?
Gear, because I'm angry.
Oh yeah, Tim has something he's angry about. Okay, Tim's itching. We'll let him start.
All righty.
I am angry. Well, first of all, I'm angry, even angrier, because the clapping is not working. So this is my Mackie, you freaking suck. You're supposed to be an audio company, and you create an audio interface that I had to try USB cables to find one that it would work with. Also, even though it's a USB-C device, you have to go from USB-C to USB-A to an adapter. You can't go just a straight USB-C to your computer or it won't recognize it. And now that I finally got up and running, the sample buttons aren't even working. I was
lame.
Now, this is so I messed around for 30 minutes to get this stupid thing to work because I was all excited to have my sound effects again. And I was actually going to load 2 clips of my own, one of which I'm not going to tell you about because it's going to be a surprise if I can never get it to work. But then I went to go into Studio One. Suddenly it wouldn't, like, Studio One would recognize it, but it wouldn't send audio into Studio One. And I literally spent like 30 minutes trying to get the stupid thing to work, and I'm just angry. And this will also lead into my gear in a second. But before I go into my gear, I just have to give you a quick update. And this is one of the things with you. So this is my like kind of a gear update, but not really, because I have a better one I'm going to go into in a second. But I've mentioned to you guys that I've started practicing with the bagpipe band, right? And 2 weeks ago, when we were practicing, people lead like the songs, like kick them off, pick the tempo, all of that fun stuff. And my teacher called on me to do it for Amazing Grace, which is like the easiest thing to play on bagpipes. But it was super stressful because I had to play in front of the entire group the first like one time through to set the tempo and everything, and then everybody else joins in on the second and third time and the solo exit. But I did it. It sounded pretty good, and I was pretty proud of myself for playing in front of like a solo in front of a whole group of people that most of them are way better pipers than me. And because I was so proud of that, I actually had a clip. It was just like the first line on the bagpipes. I was going to put that as a sample and play it for you guys to hear, and it didn't work. I freaking hate technology, and I would just get my bagpipes out when my kids are in bed. Okay, now let's talk about the piece of gear that I actually want to talk about now that I've given you my angry rant. Okay.
Angry young man rant.
Yeah, but
now get off my grass.
I know, seriously. Freaking Mackie and stupid technology. Okay, so this kind of goes into the thing where I have realized, and I'm like the opposite of Bill, which is hilarious because I should be the younger guy who should love hate technology. So I went down the whole Helix route. I still have Helix Native and whatnot, but I found that I was spending more time trying to do presets and all of these sort of things than actually playing. Now, if I was gigging regularly...
You're not the first person who said that, by the way.
But if I was gigging regularly, I would totally do it. But for like at home, as you know, I sold a bunch of that stuff off and went back to analog effects that I'm just in love with. So real quick, I have to talk about my latest pedal that I'm completely in love with. So I have been a big fan.
Wow. This gear thing is a pedal?
I know.
Who knew?
It's like a new pedal.
Who'd have thunk it?
So I've been. There's a reason why this one.
We should just have this segment called Tim's Pedal of the Month.
I
Sorry.
know, seriously. I got like 4 new ones this month. No, so I love JHS pedals. The JHS show on YouTube is. I have a pedal that I've wanted to get for a long time. It is called the Color Box, and I actually have notes here so I get it. So what the Color Box is it is literally a Neve 1073 preamp like channel strip. That is
Wow.
what it is. I have
Really?
one forever. The pedal
It's expensive as hell, isn't it, Tim?
$450 for the pedal.
Okay.
Okay. Which is, I could literally go buy a used HX Stomp for the price of buying.
Yeah, that's a little juicy. 450,
So,
man.
But I've been really interested in it. And the reason, kind of going back for people that don't really know what this channel strip is for, what it's used for. The best example off the top of my head, there's actually a lot of examples, but would be if you listen to the guitar work on the Beatles' Revolution, you know, that was kind of the song that like introduced me to rock and roll. That just crazy over the top that preamp, because John Lennon plugged his Casino directly into the console, and then it's the preamp being completely overdriven to the point it's just fuzzy and almost cutting out. And so he does that, but also Radiohead and Spoon and White Stripes, Jack White. A lot of the bands have done the same thing, kind of following that console, and you get this just killer fuzz sound that doesn't just like an amp. It's its own thing. So that was why they created the pedal. Is to
Many Neve channel strips on Neve boards have been blown up doing that, by the way.
yes, and so but that in the Color Box. So the story goes real quick. So that is the pedal I want. That is not the pedal I want. JHS, after they did the Color Box, created a smaller version called the Crayon, which is only the gain channel off the preamp. It doesn't have all the EQ, a high pass filter, and then you've got your master volume, your pre-volume, and then tilt, which kind of is like an EQ shift, but it's not like a full EQ like the channel strip. So it's like a miniature version of it. And I got it, and I'm giving a shout out to this company. I got it from myguitarsupply.com. I'm going to listen to this other than the three of us, but myguitarsupply.com, not a sponsor, they had the Crayon on sale. And the site looks totally ghetto. I was like, do I trust the site? But I went for it. I bought it. Fast shipping. The guy was just awesome to work with. I would totally buy a pedal from him again. But to me, and I plugged it in. I plugged it with my Casino. And the very first thing I did is just crank the pre-volume
all the way up.
And of all, I probably have 20 different distortion pedals, fuzz pedal, overdrive pedals. Nothing quite has that Revolution sound. And like the second I plugged it in, I was like, holy crap, that is the sound. It is spot on. It is amazing. Now, the other thing that's awesome about it is you don't have to use it for that crazy over the top fuzz. It's really fun to use it for that, but you can pull it back and just use it as a preamp. And I actually have used it like cleaned up, like pretty much nonstop. It's an always on pedal recently, because literally all my guitars sound better going through it, because you're going through a Neve style.
Right. Yeah. You're getting that gain stage. I mean,
yes.
my interface, not the one that I did. I had a Behringer then, but this is a Steinberg, and it's got Neve transformers on each input. And you know what? It makes a substantial difference in musicality. It really does.
Well, I just pedal. It is the best preamp / best fuzz of any pedal that I own. It's amazing. And now I am completely convinced I have to get the $450.
Of course you are.
But also, the Color Box is cool because not only can you use it as a guitar, also has an XLR in and phantom power, so you can use it as a mic preamp. I mean, you can use it for everything. So
yeah, that's kind of cool.
I'm just going to say their goal was to get that sound of a completely overdriven Neve preamp, and they freaking knocked it out of the park. I am good it sounds. And I only
Oh,
paid
cool.
I paid probably 100. I think I paid 129 for it, which I think they're like normally 200. So it was a killer sale that I got it on. Anyway, what did I say? It was like my guitar supply or something. I can't remember that website.
I think that's what you said. Yeah, like my guitar supply.com.
So, killer deal, killer pedal, great website or great company. Even though the website sucks, appreciate it. Okay, I am happy about that. Oh, and this all goes back to and this is why I love analog pedals, because I can plug them in and they sound great. And technology is fast. Okay, I'm done.
All right, you got Scott.
Where is my thing here?
Scott, I love your Thunderbird bass on the wall. Just throwing that out there.
You what?
For a while, and I've always regretted selling it. I just think Thunderbirds are the coolest basses.
You know, I love the way it looks. The freaking hardest thing to play out of all of these things. And I don't know, maybe it's just an illusion, but it just seems so long. The neck seems long, the head, everything just seems long. And whenever I'm playing this thing, I'm all night long.
See, that's funny. I never felt that way with my Thunderbird, but I've always been in love with the Firebird. And I got one, and that was exactly how I felt about it. I was like, this is just the weirdest, most awkward guitar to play. I love the way they look. I just could never get used to playing the live. But the Thunderbird.
Playing the Rick is probably like, besides my P bass, that is like my favorite axe to play. But I never see like dudes in country bands playing a Rick.
I have never seen a dude in a country band playing a Rick ever.
Me neither. And even like I brought it out to one of the buffs, and it just seemed weird. Like,
right.
I loved playing it, but it just didn't fit the vibe. And I was like, I don't know.
That's a P bass gig.
Scott was ready to talk about his gear, and I just interrupted him.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh, good. So I got the Dario mic mute.
I remember when there was another company. I don't remember the name. Color Sound or something like that. I don't remember, that made something like this ages ago that I tried. It's an interesting concept.
Like this thing, it cuts off the sound, especially when you're using headphones. And I'm standing next to the drums all the time. I don't have to listen to the fucking. It cuts out everything, and you can adjust sensitivity. So I have it set to where I got to be right up on it, and then it turns on. And especially like with some of the groups I'm playing with, the singers like to come up and start having conversations with me, like, "Hey, do you see that girl in the front?" Well, you know, my mic is really loud. We don't need to have that coming over the sound system, plus over my headset, plus everyone else's headset. So I don't know. I thought it was cool. $99.
What they made those for was it's a gate. It is. It shuts the mic down.
Absolutely.
So if you've got somebody who just sings occasional backup or something, you don't have their mic open all the time.
Exactly. And for me, I'm the side guy in most of these bands. So the time I have to sing, but it's not like I'm on it all the time. So I like it. It just makes my environment a little less loud.
I never thought of it for that purpose. I always thought of it for for the sound guy, but that's a really interesting. You don't have a crap ton of drums and everything in your ears, but you've got your vocal mic in there and it's picking up everything on the stage.
Yeah.
So if you're not on your vocal mic, it cuts everything down.
Yeah. And, but for me, especially if we're playing with a click track, I need to hear the hi-hat and the snare drum and the ride. And it's kind of loud. And if my mic is on, it bleeds through that as well. So this, I don't know, I have found it cuts out about half of the unwanted noise.
Well, that's very cool.
Uh, Sweetwater. I could have bought it from Daddario, but I had a credit, so
There you go.
$99.
My
No.
Couldn't have bought my guitar supply though, because I'm sure they don't have that.
We might have to check.
So mine is related to this amp behind me, which is definitely not new. I call it a 1962 Princeton. I'm not totally sure, but I do know they only made that style. 61, but mid 61 and early 63. So there's a pretty good shot there. It's a 62. It might be a 61. It might be a 63. We don't really know. But I've had it for, Lord, about 40 years. Got it at a garage sale in the San Fernando Valley. I was on my way to work at the LA Times on a Saturday morning and went by this garage sale, and out of the corner of my eye went, that looked like a Fender amp. And so on my way home from work, I went by and it was still there. And he was asking $60 for it. I'm going to hell because I talked him down to 40. And I think last time I checked, they're worth about $4,000.
I say this is $1984, so like $40.
No, 85. Yeah, so it's like $420 in today's dollars, more or less. It's still for an app that is currently valued at about $4,000. It's.
But who'd have known? I mean, back then you're just thinking, this is just a piece of crap Fender Champ. I mean, they make them all the time. Now, who cares?
Yeah, I knew it was something because of the brown Tolex and the brown face, but I couldn't test it. The speaker was blown, which leads to the next part of it. So the only way I was able to check it was they had a pair of headphones and they had a little cassette tape deck with a headphone out. I took the headphone output of the boom box and plugged it into the amp and then plugged the headphones into the speaker output just to make sure it actually worked, and it did. And I said, oh, man, I'm going to have to put a new speaker in it. I'll give you 40. And he took it. But that brings up why it's a repair guy called one time the Fashion Princeton with the leopard skin plate on the front, because back then I only played amps with 12-inch speakers. I was always a combo amp guy with a 12-inch speaker. I was 4x10 closed back guy, and I liked the sound of a 12 a little bit better. So I bought a 12-inch Jensen speaker, and I cut a new faceplate. And originally, actually, it was covered in purple metallic tiger skin pattern. Which is why the guy called it the Fashion Princeton. And then I toned it down and went to this. But I had to credit it at Sweetwater, and Jensen makes a 10 now that's kind of artificially aged. So it has round tone you would expect out of a speaker that had been a amp. So I did, I was smart enough to hang on to the original faceplate. All these years I've been dragging this around for, it's been in my garage or wherever for like 40 years. And I bought I had to order nuts for it from Home Depot, and I had lost them many years ago. So anyway, 10-inch Princeton. This is called I think it's called an FER or something like that. Kind of got that tone. So as we're getting ready to record this Boss's stuff, which I'm going to talk to you guys about later, we'll, use like real amps and stuff like that, this kind of stuff. So I figured, we might as well put it back in the shape it's actually supposed to be in instead of a 12-inch speaker and a leopard skin faceplate. So that's my
thing.
The
Fashion Princeton, that's great.
It was a place called the Amp Shop in like Sherman Oaks. I had a capacitor to go, and it took a few tubes remember watching either a spark or actually flames come out of the second instrument jack on there. I was like, wow, I'm going to have to go in to get this fixed. And that was a long time ago. But I realized, I was thinking about it earlier, you know, when the old Reverend Bill and the Soul Bleed, we were playing up in like Santa Barbara and places like that. I had this amp, and it's not very loud. It's only a 15-watt amp. And that was a loud band. And I wanted to use it, but it just wouldn't keep up. And without really, at the time, that's what I did. I was actually doing a version of Randy Bachman's, which actually I guess is actually now it's Bachman. Randy Bachman's Herzog effect, which he used on a lot of the Guess Who records, that really singy tone, which he got by taking a champ and taking the output of it and plugging the speaker output into a Marshall or like a super reverb or something really loud. They said they blew up many amplifiers that way. But I was doing the same thing with that. And I had a Music Man great amp. I wish I'd never gotten rid of it. That was a great amp. I think you have one of those, don't you?
I don't.
I believe so.
I had the HD 130 for a year, which, by the way, I bought that at the Desert Industries thrift store.
Wow.
I went in, the speaker, one was missing, and it had the tubes in it, and I turned it on, and the power lamp went on, and the tube started heating up, and I was like, for $5, I'll take it. And I went and bought new Eminence speakers, which were what would have come in originally, and it was a killer amp. But yeah, I sold it, and I still regret it. It was too loud. I just couldn't do anything.
Well, see, I had the smaller version. I had the 112. Okay. So whatever that one was. And it was still a loud amp. But I was doing the same thing with this. I had the, oh my God, my setup was the guitar went into an AB switch. One side of the AB switch went into the Music Man. The other side went into the Princeton, but then the output of the Princeton went into the other input channel on the Music Man. And I got this singing tone, but it was unbelievably loud and unbelievably noisy. I remember being at a gig once, and our bass player, Doug Hodge, I went to go to my lead patch, and I was like, and he just reached behind him and turned the amp all the way down. Like, listen, what happened? And he's like, no, ridiculous. So there you go. That's my thing.
Well, I think it's awesome.
So I believe we were supposed. Yeah, it's a great sounding amp. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's for a clean amp. It's really hard to have any reverb. It's got tremolo. It's got that Fender tremolo, which is a really cool thing. You know, when you're playing super clean stuff. And I love the amp, but you know, unlike Tim, I too like technology, and I'm on the waiting list for the new Helix Stadium, having sold my Helix rack. Ready to sell my Helix floor to pay for it. Come out in October.
Maybe next month I'll tell you about my new favorite reverb pedal, which would go great with your Princeton. But anyway.
That's what I need. We can talk. I'm going to tell you right now. I'll make this my thing for next time. A sound sample online from the Stadium of their Fender Twin, and I dare you to listen to it and not tell me that it's not a real Twin being played in a studio with a really good on the cabinet and a really good ribbon mic in the room. I mean, it's stunning how close it is. It's amazing.
Oh, digital modeling has gotten so good. I mean, recently I was over at Car Shop here. It was a Fender Tone Master Princeton, and
right.
It was incredible. I mean, it just sounded. If I was gigging regularly, I would totally buy one of those Tone Master amps because nobody in the club would the real thing. And they weigh a fraction, like it's a fraction of weight. They sound incredible. So no, they've come along. They've come so far. Like at this point, like there might be a little bit different like flavor to it, but it's not like one sounds better than the other.
It's just a little bit different. I heard some interviews and everything, and it's like they're at the point now where they're modeling things that shouldn't have any effect on sound, but it has an effect on responsiveness. So they're modeling things like the length of wire runs between components. Is really, I mean, I don't even want to think what that math would have to look like, you know.
That's some nerd shit right there, man.
Oh, it absolutely is. It's like, this is like for guitar nerds, man. 100%.
No doubt. We're going to model this cable at 10 foot with copper wire and holy crap.
Well, no, not even like cables like that. I'm talking about the length of wire between components in the amp. So like the distance between this resistor and this capacitor, how much wire is there? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't think they've gotten down to that yet, but you know, I think that's coming.
And what kind of solder is it too? Is it hollow core or is it solid core?
And with AI, we can just say, "Hey, do this for me," and it'll be done. Which is some other stuff I want to talk about. Okay, so actual topic for today was
30 minutes in.
Yeah, right. And favorite fictional band. So a fictional band is usually going to be something from a TV show or a movie, a band that doesn't really exist. In some cases, those bands actually ended up existing and toured for a long time off of the popularity from the movie. There's some really good ones. So who wants to start? I'm going to go last because I'm afraid that you guys we're going to cross over.
Just come up with one.
It's hard.
I came up with five. I came up with five.
Nope.
Yeah.
So I'll go first and rip them all right off. The first one is the Lone Rangers, and they're from that movie Airheads.
I don't know that one.
Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler.
I will cut an example from that in to this.
They're rocking. The Wonders, That Thing You Do.
Doing that thing you do, breaking my heart.
Hey,
It's an amazing band. Come on.
Wait a second. Okay, stop. Gems. Okay, next.
I was going to say, I was only going to pick two, and
Pick as many as you want. There's just too many to just
or the
pick
Oneders,
one.
rather, they were going to.
Yeah, the Oneders are great.
But the reason why is I was going to say, because I'm stealing Scott's, because Scott said it. So obviously I was that weird kid who loved classic rock, and that movie came out at the perfect time for me, where I was probably late junior high, maybe early high school, and I loved that it had like kind of that classic, 60s rock vibe to it. But it was cool. And so it was the perfect timing, and then like every dance, every event, every party you went to, everybody knew the song That Thing You Do. So of course, like a lot of the bands I played in like that era of my life, we all covered That Thing You Do because everybody knew it, everybody loved it. Great movie, great song.
You know Wayne guy, right?
Yeah, Adam Schlesinger from Fountains of Wayne.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that fucking guy's songs.
Yeah.
Great songs.
Hallowed be his name, by the way. I mean,
Yeah.
the power pop god. I
Great
think
tunes.
that my pick is also by Adam Schlesinger, and that would be Josie and the Pussycats from the 2001 movie starring
Rachel Lee Cook,
and
Rosario.
Tara Reid and Rosario Dawson.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Well, he looks at me with innocent eyes and says it looks like you're wearing some kind of disguise because your hair sticks up, your shoes are untied. I hope that you got that shirt at half price and every word I say falls flat on the floor. I try to tell a joke, he's heard it before, and I don't think that I can take it no more. He's driving me right out my front door. Why do you do what you do to me, baby? Shaking my confidence, driving me crazy. You know if I could, I'd do anything for you. Please don't ignore me, cause you know I adore you. Can you just pretend to be nice? Can you at least pretend to be nice? If you could just pretend to be nice, then everything in my life would be alright.
And another great one he did since Scott said the Oneders first, but since you got it.
And there's 2 songs on that soundtrack. One called "Pretend to Be Nice" and one called "Come On, Come On" that are on my what do they call it? Heavy rotation all the time because it's like the things I go back to over and over again. They're just like perfect girl power pop songs. None of the girls played in the movie. They were all actresses, not musicians. But they did make them go to band camp basically for like 3 months. And they learned how to play so they could like look like they were actually playing in the movie. And they all sang backup. The lead vocals on that were actually, what's her name? Kay Hanley, I think, the lead singer from Letters to Cleo.
Letters to Cleo. Yeah, I was going to say that is a fantastic like pop punk album. Like what got probably 2001. I owned the CD and then I think I bought it digitally later on. But I would say it is like a top tier pop punk, like girl pop punk album. You mentioned were great, but I would say literally album. I don't really love like the du jour stuff, which is like the
that's terrible. But every other track on all the Josie tracks are really good.
Were all great,
and I believe that they were all written by Adam. I'm not positive about that, but I believe that is the case. And let's get this straight: pop punk is just power pop with guy liner, with guy liner. And skinnier ties and maybe a little bit more distortion.
That movie came out. I would have been in college, and I actually took for all of college because of that movie and that soundtrack. So.
And the funny thing is, I've never actually seen the movie. I was sent the album because I was doing record reviews a lot during that period of time, around 2000. And somehow when I was at Gig, I got national release list for all the Warner Brothers companies. So for years, I just got probably 12 CDs a month that would come in the door, and I would keep the ones I thought were any good, and I would take the rest to the used record store and turn them in for credit and buy something that I actually wanted up for such a extensive CD collection.
I don't think I've actually watched that movie since probably about 2005 or 2006, but I still pull up that album multiple times a year. It just makes me smile because it's just great. Great choice.
So who else you have?
Fully endorsed.
Yeah, I knew you got right.
Yeah, I do, but you can go, Scott. It's your turn again.
I got Steel Dragon from the Rockstar movie.
Take me from my home, the eyes overturned. It makes my stomach turn. It tears my flesh from bone. I return, I dream the stone, and we all die young.
Mark Wahlberg? Or am I thinking?
Yeah,
Okay, it is. Okay.
yeah.
Based on a person, I do believe.
Based on the kind of loose on Judas Priest. Yeah, in the movie they kick out the lead singer, because he's doesn't show up. He's gay. He's on drugs. Blah 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 blah. And I hired this kid, Ripper, who in real life, Ripper Owens takes Rob Halford's place because Rob Halford out
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, and then he comes back, and then Ripper Owens is out. In the
Whatever
movie,
happened-
the new singer leaves and gives it to some other kid who wants to take his spot. But Steel Dragon, Sweetwater from Almost.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I didn't think about that one.
And then my last one is because they just did a remake from Freaky Friday, the boy band Pink Slip. Oh, dude, Pink Slip.
I know my daughter was obsessed with that movie.
Power pop song out of Freaky Friday. You got to listen to it. Great tune. Lindsay Lohan, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Okay, I will.
But I don't remember that. I'll have to go back.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Tim, what was your other one?
Okay, here's my next one, and it is there's a lot of reasons why, but it is Wyld Stallions from the Bill and Ted trilogy. Literally, the reason why I started playing guitar.
Let's rock! One, two,
1, 2, 3, 4. Really?
I loved Bill and Ted's Adventure. I have the soundtracks for all of the movies. I remember when they went to the future and you hear what they're supposed to sound like in the future in the first movie, thinking that was just the coolest song I'd ever heard. The one that I sent you, I like even better, although Bogus Journey is probably my least favorite of the three movies.
It's a terrible movie. Terrible movie.
At the very end of Bogus Journey, when they win the battle of the Bands playing Kiss, God Made Rock and Roll for You.
Remember that?
I just loved it that they had that as the Wyld Stallions song. Third movie, I loved the third movie that came out a couple of years ago.
I actually liked that one.
They did kind of an instrumental at the end of it, which was supposed to be the Wyld Stallions, which once again, it was fantastic. But yeah, really, that movie probably the primary driver and why I picked a guitar and wanted to be a rock star. And once again, you guys have heard me about how my parents certainly have rock music around until I heard the Beatles, which actually was probably a couple of years after that movie came out. But that was really kind of my introduction to any kind of like hard rock, anything. I literally started getting into music, went and looked up all the bands. Like, they talk about when they talk about like Socrates or Socrates Johnson.
Socrates
came from looked like the cover of the Led Zeppelin album House of the Holies. I literally went and got the album House of the Holies because of that. I'm trying to remember.
Wow.
So many bands like Extreme I got into because Extreme does one of the songs on the soundtrack. Ozzy Osbourne, like literally Van Halen, like a lot of those bands that I really got into like in the rock world, I learned about them from that movie and from the references in those movies, like the first movie.
Scott, we are officially old, dude.
Oh, no shit, dude.
I think that's awesome. My other two, one of them is I'm really surprised nobody else picked it, The Commitments.
Oh, yeah.
And now ended up from the popularity of the movie touring for years in years. I don't think they're out there still anymore.
Who is that?
The Commitments.
Dude. It's
That's
about
the name of the
Irish
movie.
soul band. Oh, Lord. Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll mock Tim for not knowing about it. When did the Commitments come out? Late 80s, early
It had to
90s?
been, like 90s, I think.
And so it's this wannabe band manager kind of guy in Dublin.
Rabbit.
Right. And he puts together a soul band. It's like, and they do Wilson Pickett and Otis Redding and, and the whole plot of the movie is that they were supposed to do this gig and Wilson Pickett was supposed to be there. And it was like this big thing. And then at the end, and they had this giant blow up and the band broke up and they all walked out. And about 15 minutes later, Wilson Pickett walked in. It's a great movie. And then it's got the greatest line about bands ever at the end where he talks about, hey, because the manager guy is kind of the narrator of the thing too, telling the story, and then voiceover at the end, he's like, they could have come on and been big stars and everything, but this way it's poetry.
Anyway, I'm totally shocked that nobody said Spinal Tap. I intentionally did not get it up, so I figured.
Oh my Lord, we didn't say Spinal Tap. How can we not? Now, you guys are.
Yeah, I know.
See
How
the
could
movie,
we not
right?
say Spinal Tap?
No, Bill wants to go on to the next thing, but I have to throw one more fictional band out there because Scott got like 5.
Yeah, throw them out there. Throw them out, man.
Have you guys ever seen Sing Street?
I have not.
Go watch it. When you were, I totally did not even think about it, but when you were talking about the Irish band, this is kids starting an Irish new wave band in like the mid 80s when Ireland's like in the Depression, and the soundtrack is great, but yeah, it's a very 80s new wave, and the band's called Sing Street. Like that's the name of the movie. It was like a Sundance indie film, something like that. From Steam. It's on like every streaming service. Totally worth watching. I think you would really like it.
No, but there are other great fictional bands. There was a great movie out in probably the is called Heartbreak Hotel, where Elvis hadn't died. He had slipped away to a little town. He was like working as a car mechanic or something, and his girlfriend a garage band, and there's a scene in it where a 50-year-old Elvis is jamming with this garage band. It was actually a really cool movie.
1, 2, 3, 4. Well, since my baby left me, I found a new place to dwell. Down on the end of the street, heartbreak hotel. I get so lonely, I get so lonely I can die.
We didn't mention Eddie and the Cruisers either.
Eddie and the Cruisers as another one. Now, Eddie and the Cruisers was a fictional band, but the band behind all that was the Beaver Brown Band.
Sure.
It was like a real band. And the sax player in that band just died. last
Oh,
week,
wow.
I think, yeah. In his, I want to say in his, and he was with the Beaver Brown Band that whole time. What was the guy's name? The singer and
John Cafferty.
John. There you go. That's it. Did you ever see that one, Tim? Eddie and the Cruisers?
No, I don't know.
Oh, my God. We're going to have to brainwash Tim. Like, I take one weekend and just make him force feed him all these movies.
Yeah, we're going to force you to. Yeah, we have to watch the Commitments and Eddie and the Cruisers. The thing, I mean,
I'll make you guys watch Sing Street. It will be
up for that. I mean, the thing about the Commitments is all cover tunes. It's like, you can't go wrong. I mean, and that soundtrack is Mustang Sally and Try a Little Tenderness and At the Dark End of the Street and all great old solo tunes. And honestly, that was between that and going to see Jack Mack and the Heart Attack.
Oh, I love that band.
Palomino. Those were the things that made me go, I want to do soul music, man. Which, I don't know if I told you, Scott, I'm putting that there because I'm an idiot. And
the soul band?
Yeah.
So I didn't tell you this, but I got an invitation to go see the lineup and like their Facebook page. And I denied them because I'm on the Rev Bill team. Fuck those assholes.
The funny thing is, I've actually kind of
guitarists wear a kilt.
That's right. That's right.
I like Bob. Bob's a cool dude, but I don't know.
I still
that shit rubbed me the wrong way. And
without getting into it, I've actually started talking to Ian again because but it's like the other two are basically dead to me, but yeah, it was
I get it.
That's I keep seeing stuff like that too, and it's like I have unfollowed everybody except for Bob, but Bob will post things up there too, and I'm like, how can I make Facebook understand that I do not want to see this?
Snooze.
The more you tell Facebook you don't want to see something, the more they show.
Yes.
It's like, oh, you clicked on the 3 dots, you must love it.
Okay, so you know what? We are actually going to come in under an hour for the first time ever. I'm just going to give you a little teaser, and I might put some of this on the out. Unless you guys, I have it all queued up and everything. There's this tool called Suno, Suno.
Yeah.
That I was turned on to by Quint Randall. And I used it about 8 months ago. A produced version of a bedroom demo that I had written called The Battle to Belong. And I thought it was okay. It was definitely way better than my bedroom demo to the point that I released it. And I hadn't looked at it. I hadn't used it in probably 9 months. And this week, I had a tune that I had written for the album. In fact, Scott, you played on it. Didn't end up on the record, called "Let's Fall in Love." It was like, I thought it was a strong tune, but it applauding grungy rock song, and in that setting, the lyrics, which are 100% about a wedding reception hookup, just came off as and stalkery, and it was like, yeah, I can't. This is not working, and I knew I needed to lighten it up. And so I had the idea. I said, okay, well, what if I toned down the guitars and I had a horn section? And so I had with a basic horn part, and I had recorded it poorly. It was like not in time or anything else. It was just like, here's the outline of what I'm thinking. And I fed that to Suno. And out a fully produced, like, and it's not only like it's fully produced, it's really good. And now you can not, it's like you don't just get stereo file, you can get stems. So I got the stems and I flew the stems into Logic and I did EQ work and compression and everything and made it sound better. And I played it for and told him, look, I think what I'm going to do is have Brian Pollock come out and re-record the lead vocal. And his response was, why? You can just release this. And scary. And it's like, this goes back to the thing, Tim said our motto is no fakery. I'm not sure what that even means anymore. As Scott says, we live in the future.
We do. We do. This is the time of the Jetsons, my friend.
Yes, it is. And it's going to have an impact on music. There's no doubt about it. I'll tell you what I would do is I will send you guys some of the tracks that it spit out so you can hear it and then talk about whether this is a legitimate tool or the beginning of the musical apocalypse next time.
Well, if it's as flaky as my Mackie interface, we have nothing to do. It's bedtime for me, guys.
Yeah, it's time to go. Okay, we had fun talking about fictional bands. I believe that's it. And we're going to stay on track, and we'll be back in a month. All right? Toodles, everybody.